In the misty mountains of ancient China, there lived a humble herbalist named Chun, whose heart was as gentle as the morning dew upon the lotus leaves. He dwelt in a small bamboo cottage at the edge of a quiet village, where the scent of wild orchids drifted through the open window. Though he possessed little, Chun gave freely, sharing his herb with the sick and his rice with the hungry. Each dawn, before the sun had fully risen above the jagged peaks, Chun would climb the mountain paths to gather medicinal roots and rare flowers. The villagers whispered that the animals of the forest knew him by name, for never once did he raise a hand against any living creature. Birds perched upon his shoulder as he walked, and deer bowed their heads when he passed along the narrow trails. One bitter winter evening, as frost crept across the land like silver thread, a trembling figure appeared at Chen's door. It was an old beggar, his clothes thin as paper, his face gaunt and pale as the moon. Snow clung to his ragged beard, and his fingers were blue with cold. Most villagers would have turned him away, but Chen ushered him inside without a moment's hesitation. Chun wrapped the old man in his own warm quilt and brewed a restorative soup from his most precious herbs, the ones he had been saving for market. He fed the beggar spoonful by spoonful, blowing gently on each bite to cool it. Through the long night, Chun sat beside the stranger, feeding the fire and watching over him as the wind howled outside like a wounded beast. When morning came, the old beggar's color had returned, and he rose with surprising vigor. He looked at Chun with eyes that seemed to hold the depth of centuries. The old man spoke softly, saying that Chun had shared his last grain of rice and his finest herbs with a stranger he did not know, and that few would do what he had done. He asked why Chun had not turned him away. Chun smiled and answered simply, saying that every living being deserves warmth and kindness, and that when he sees suffering, he cannot look away. The old beggar nodded slowly, and a strange light gathered in his gaze. He placed one weathered hand upon Chen's shoulder, and in that moment, the humble herbalist felt a warmth flood through his body, as though spring itself had bloomed inside his chest, melting every trace of winter's chill. Then the old man stepped outside, and to Chen's astonishment, his ragged form began to shimmer and transform. His bent spine straightened, his white hair turned dark as a raven's wing, and his tattered robes dissolved into flowing garments of celestial white. A radiant halo surrounded him. He was no beggar at all, but a deity of the heavens, descended to earth in disguise to test the hearts of mortals. The deity declared that he had walked among 1,000 villages, and in every place he was turned away, mocked, or beaten. Only Chun had opened his door without question and given without expectation of reward. Chun fell to his knees in awe, but the deity raised him gently, saying that he owed no bow, for it was the deity himself who was in Chen's debt. The deity raised his hand toward the sky, and the clouds parted to reveal a magnificent celestial palace gleaming with golden light among the stars. The Jade Emperor himself had watched Chen's deeds. The immortal continued. For every herb he gave to the sick, for every creature he spared, for every kindness he performed without thought of gain, a record had been kept in the halls of heaven. The deity proclaimed that benevolence had not gone unnoticed, for the heavens reward not the powerful, nor the wealthy, nor those who pray loudest, but those whose hearts are pure and who act with compassion when no one is watching. As he spoke, a gentle rain began to fall, but it was no ordinary rain. Each drop sparkled with golden light, and wherever it touched the earth, flowers burst into bloom. The golden rain fell upon Chen's barren garden, and instantly the soil became rich and dark. Medicinal herbs of extraordinary rarity sprang up, their leaves glowing with an unearthly vitality. Plum trees blossomed in the dead of winter, their branches heavy with fragrant pink flowers. The stream beside his cottage ran clear and sweet, and fish appeared in its waters as if summoned by some invisible command from the depths of the river. But Chen looked at the miraculous abundance around him and then knelt once more. He spoke to the Honored One, saying he did not need wealth or rare herbs, and that if he had done anything worthy, let his reward be this, that the people of his village never again suffer from plague or famine. The celestial being's eyes widened with admiration, and he laughed, a sound like wind chimes stirring in a summer breeze. The deity was deeply moved, saying that Chen asked not for himself, but for others, and that this was the truest benevolence. His wish would be granted. The deity waved his sleeve, and a beam of light swept across the valley below. From that day forward, the village's fields yielded 3 harvests each year, and no disease crossed its borders. The streams never ran dry, and the orchards bore fruit in every season, winter and summer alike. Word of the miracle spread across the region, and people journeyed from distant provinces to see the blessed village. Chen never sought fame or praise. He continued to gather herbs on the mountainside, to heal the sick, and to share what he had. Travelers who came seeking miracles left instead with something quieter, a sense that the world still held room for simple goodness, and that kindness, freely given, was its own quiet power. Chun lived to a great age, his hair silver, but his steps still steady, his eyes still bright with warmth. On the night he finally closed his eyes, the villagers reported seeing a streak of golden light rise from his cottage and arc toward the heavens, joining the stars. Some swore they heard celestial music drifting down from the sky, soft and distant, like a lullaby sung by the gods to welcome a good soul home. This tale echoes a belief woven deep into Chinese culture. That benevolence is not measured by grand gestures, but by the steady accumulation of small kindnesses, performed without hope of reward. The gods test not the rich and powerful, but the humble and generous. It reminds us that in the grand tapestry of existence,